Shalom everybody. In today's video, let us enter into further mysteries of world peace by beholding the illimitable in all things. Let us today learn the secret of day 6. Let us create man in our image. With that being said, let's begin. The 7 days of creation correspond to the lower 7 spheros. Day 1 corresponds to Chesed, Day 2 to Gevura, Day 3 to Tiferet, Day 4 to Netzach, Day 5 to Hod, and Day 6 to Yisod. Yisod is the secret of the reproductive organ. Thus it says on this day, "Let us create man after our image." This teaches us that man emerges via the reproductive organ. It also teaches us that it emerges in the image of Elohim. Elohim is the secret of the name for the Sphira of Bina, which is called by the Partsufim Ima, or mother. This teaches us that the man, in example Zekarva Nukva, or male and female, will be after the image of its parents. Not only that it emerges from the reproductive organ in the secret of the 6th day, which is Yisod, the reproductive organ, but also that it emerges in the secret of the image of its parents. Now, for those that have been watching these videos, it should be well known to you all the secret of Et Chadam, an example Aleph Tav, the man. Aleph Tav hints to the 22 letters. Aleph is the first letter of the Lashon HaKodesh, and Tav is the last letter. The secret of these 22 letters are the fronts and backs of the Sphirot, which also form the supernal pattern, commonly referred to in many different places on this channel as Arizal, or tree atop of tree. The basic understanding is that there are 2 trees formed by the 22 letters. They are the tree of the face, called Panim, and the tree of the body, or Guf, called Acher. To obtain the secret of this tree, it is known that the 22 letters run in a linear fashion as the roots of the spheros themselves, the 11 fronts and the 11 backs. When scrutinizing the progression, in example, Kaf is Malchus, and then it continues into Lamed, which is the backside of Keter, we find the supernal secret. That secret being that this entire tree of the Panim is located in this one sphera, an example, the Keter of the backside. This tree of the backside is the Guf, or the body. An example, Kether here would correspond to its head. We learn thus that there is an entire tree of the face in the Keter of the tree of the body. This tree of the face is also synonymous with the word fronts, for the word fronts, pani, is also panim, face. That being said, we see that there are the 2 lobes of the brain, the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth, etc., and that this tree of the face is precisely in the Keter of the tree of the backside. This is a basic understanding of the supernal pattern. We thus see that the baby takes up the shape and form of the supernal pattern, in addition to it emerging from the reproductive organ, an example on the 6th day, and after the image, an example of its mother and father. Consider very carefully, based off of the things that have been stated here, the great depth of the Torah. This is the difference between the Peshat and the Sod. The true Sod is the Peshat, but the Peshat without the Sod is madness. I'll demonstrate and provide another example. It is written, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." Under the heaven means Netzach and Hod, which are under the sphere of Tiferet called heaven. Gathered to one place refers to Yisod. We thus learn at the Atziluthic level that water is gathered into the sphere of Yisod. For this reason, when it comes to the face, Yisod corresponds to the mouth, and therefore water is gathered into the mouth, an example, the reason why we salivate, etc. And when it comes to the body, Yisod is the reproductive organ, and so water gathers here in the secret of why we urinate. At the Atziluthic level, the Sod of the Torah becomes the Peshat, and the Peshat becomes the Sod. This is what the Gaon of Vilna meant. In his Siddur, he stated that one should study Sod first, then Drosh, then Remez, and then he is rewarded with the Peshat. The Peshat, or the simple meaning, becomes the reward, an example, the guideline, to those who are faithful and understand that the Torah is entirely divine. For example, when discussing which animals are kosher, we learn that a kosher animal needs to have a split hoof and chew the cud. However, there is one animal in particular that has a split hoof and does not chew the cud. The Torah warns us about this animal, and of course, this one animal that is noted as having a split hoof but does not chew the cud is the pig. Now, the fascinating thing about this is that of all of the animals that are in existence, only the pig has a split hoof and doesn't chew the cud, which means out of the perhaps millions of different species of animals, only the pig has a split hoof and doesn't chew the cud. If everything was according to chaotic and perhaps evolutionary purposes, then why did evolution not utilize another animal that has a split hoof and doesn't chew the cud? Why only the pig, specifically the pig, in which the Torah points out, be careful of the pig, for it has a split hoof and doesn't chew the cud. And when we take this to reality, there isn't another animal in all of existence that has a split hoof and doesn't chew the cud except for the pig. Now, there are other examples, such as the halakha behind a fish. We read that a fish needs to have scales and fin. If we render this in its simple meaning, it simply refers to eating fish that have scales and fins. However, everything inside of the Torah are the secrets of the illimitable. Therefore, it can't simply refer to just dietary laws regarding what to eat and what not to eat. This is the simple meaning. If this was the case, many different man-made sefers do the same. If it was truly given by God, then all of the secrets inside of it must be divine and holy, most supernal things, and indeed they are. It teaches us, as our sages state, that every fish that has scales has fin, and that there isn't a single fish out of the millions of species that has scales and no fin. For there is the one who studies the material at the simple level, and there's the one who studies it as if they were the words of God. Now, there are many more secrets like this that can be revealed, and some of these mysteries have been made known to our sages, and they have proclaimed them and taught of them in various different places. There is much more to be said about these matters, and perhaps we'll do another video talking about more esoteric levels or mysteries behind the halakha or various sod interpretations from the passages of the Torah. But with all of that being said, consider these things in the divine. When the Torah comes to life and is not simply an abstract document or a historical record, but the very light of the illimitable, the very light of the Creator, then we enter into the true secret of Yirah, awe. That being said, as David HaMelech said, open my eyes that I may behold the wonders of your Torah. Shalom and Selah.